Hey everybody, this is Jenna Rose. Welcome to my channel. So I'm doing a review for Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is episode 3, season 4, and it's called Read It and Weep. And absolutely the title fits. Anybody who has ever gone through a serious breakup 100% knows there comes a period of time after that breakup when you come to terms with the fact that the person you thought you knew is no longer that person to you. And Martell found that out in this episode, okay? So let's jump right into it. So the scene opens with Maurice and Marcel. Maurice visits Marcel at Black Cigar Bar. He goes in, he sees Jalen, they dap it up. He grabs a couple of cigars and he jumps right into it. He tells Marcel that he wants an apology. He says, that this really affects Tisha too. And Marceau said, I'm not giving you one. And don't worry about Tisha. Tisha's fine. Okay. Marie says, I don't know how you handle it in your household, but anything that affects Kimmy affects me. And that's when I basically just tuned him out completely, because we all saw Kimmy affected by Kiowa first and second season. And you barely said anything. I mean, it did not affect you at all. In fact, you told your ex-wife and her husband that they can live in one of your homes rent-free before you ever told your wife about it. And when you did and you saw that she was crying, you kissed her on the forehead and basically told her to get over it. So I don't know. That doesn't feel like what affects your wife affects you, because you didn't give a damn with that. You did it again when you didn't tell her that Monster was vaping. She had to find out on the street, and you basically said the same thing. It wasn't for you to know. It was for me and Kiowa to know. So this scene, again, Marceau and Maurice did not think it through. Them kind of be like their honorable husbands or whatever. You guys aren't. You're horrible. You're horrible with how you handle your wives. Martell ends up showing up. He jumps in on the conversation. Then he says he apologized to Maurice for making jokes under the picture. I'm like, you didn't make jokes. You actually brought your mistress in on the picture. She threatened Marceau's wife, and then she told them that they were sleeping with linebackers. So she helped basically push the whole rumor and crazy along. The scene ends with them talking about Louis and Tiffany. Martell asked Marceau to meet with Louis and, apologize or make amends for what happened. He thought they were too hard on him. Marceau says, the dude doesn't know me and I really don't care, because no one can talk to me about me and what I hold dearly. And he was referring to his marriage he holds dearly. And again, just confusing to the viewer. Martell says that, he has to get to know his boundaries, and until he sets them, he's not going to know. Again, confusing, because those three guys cross boundaries like nobody's business. In fact, Martell's going to cross a boundary at the end of this episode that is a hard lesson to learn, but clearly he had to learn it. So the next scene is Tiffany and Louis. They are at their house. Tiffany is talking about quality or sexy time. They're making a little back and forth innuendo. Who knows? The camera pans to the dog, and the dog is like, yeah, I'm 100% whatever the hell they're talking about. If the cameras wouldn't hear, they wouldn't even be doing any of this. Tiffany then tells Louis what happened at the pajama party. At one point, she is mimicking Stormi, and she has the hand gestures, and she tries to do the accent, and I could tell, I was like, please don't, because I don't want you to get dragged, because that's what's going to happen here. Louis tells her that Martell wants him to meet with Marceau. And then we find out that Tiffany and Marceau knew each other. They actually worked together, it sounds like, at a company called Monaco. And that is when Biff was like, that's what the F I'm talking about. This MF is acting like we're out of place. We don't know him. And it turns out you do know him. So he's doing these fancy hand gestures and he's kind of passionate. You know what I'm saying? He's more himself in the scene than I think he is normally. Tiffany tries to grab his hand. She's like, you're talking to me. You're talking to me. Like trying to get him to use his HR voice. And he's like, listen, it is what it is. I really don't give a damn. He's not going to punk me. She's like, well, I was hoping we could do a double date. He's like, if you want, that's cool, but he's an associate. He's not a friend and he's not my partner. So at the end of the day, if he wants it, he can get it. Tiffany's like, listen, I don't want y'all to fight. He ain't going to have to be no fight. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to fight, but I just want you to know I'm not going to hold back on this dude. He was giving me a lot of energy that didn't warrant what was going on, basically. So that's how that scene ends. So Louis gave us a lot of energy in this scene, and I would really like to see him keep that same energy when he meets with Marsau next week. If he doesn't, it's going to tell me everything I need to know about both Louis and Tiffany. So the next scene is Melody, and actually she has two scenes this episode, so I'm going to combine both of them here to save time. The first scene is her and Mariah. Melody is rehearsing her acting lines with Mariah. She says that she's been taking Mariah to acting classes, and she basically just gives a speech about wanting her kids to follow their dreams, even if they have challenges. So she's like, as a single mom, I want my girls to see me like get over the hurdle of having a divorce and still following my dreams, doing everything I said I was going to do, which is beautiful. And she asked Mariah what she wanted to do. And Mariah said, I want to play tennis better than Serena. Not I want to play like Serena. I want to play better than Serena. So already she's telling me she's doing what she's supposed to do as a mama, okay? Teach your kids to dream a bigger dream than whoever they admire. And I love that. The other scene that Melody did is with her mother. She is actually packing her bags and her kids' bags so that they can take a road trip. And Melody calls her mom. And she says, hey, Mom, how's it going? She lets everybody know that she had two uncles who unexpectedly passed away. And she is on a road trip to see the family and to, do family things and grieve together. But Martell has been sending her messages. And earlier that day, he was like, did you get the girl's hair done or do you need me to do it? And I guess she looked at that phone message and blocked him promptly like anybody would. Listen. It's my week to have the kids. I'm not playing this game with you. She called her mama and had a little dialogue about it, said that Martell had sent her an email. And, basically, what does she want him to do? Like, what does he want her to do? She's like, why would he schedule something on my week? Like, he has a week. He could do it on his week. And the mom said, that's just a way of him controlling you. And she said, maybe you need to have a conversation. She said, I did that, and I'm not going to waste my breath doing that again. So by the end of it, she was like, I really don't care what Martell has going on. If it's important to him, he will, schedule another event for the children to have their book signing. Otherwise, I am doing what I want to do with the kids on my week. She got her bags, she got her kids, and she got on the road. That's how that ended. And I actually appreciated it because you know what? Melody has had a relationship with Martell where she clearly gives in to a lot. She gives him money so that he can be a big man to the kids. He never gets a no from the women in his life, it looks like. I mean, what he's done with that mistress and Melody for the longest of time, he never expected either one of them to do the opposite of what he said. He didn't want the other one. You know what I'm saying? Like if he told the other one to get rid of that third or fourth baby, whatever number she was on, she didn't. And he damn sure already said he did not expect Melody to get a divorce. So it's time he come to some very hard truths. What you used to be married, you're no longer married, follow the fucking court order. Next scene is Kimmy Maurice. This is another filler scene. They are in their bedroom. They're packing for their honeymoon after 3 long years. Kimmy tells Maurice about the pajama party, basically says that Kiki was there, Destiny and Tisha weren't. Maurice tells her to come clean to Tisha and Destiny. Whatever. He said, and also don't say anything until you get all sides, blah, blah, blah. Then Kimmy is pulling out lingerie and, they're doing that playful couple thing for the camera. And that was basically it. So the next scene is Marsau and Tisha. I'm actually jumping out of order. They are at home with the kiddos and they're making s'mores in the fireplace. And Marsau is sharing stories about Africa to Tisha and the kids. And literally, Tisha is like, you can tell that her heart is warm, that her husband is finally sitting in a room with her and her children. Like, oh my God, look, he's 13 now and this one's only 7. Like you just felt like she was like just happy. And he's sitting there drinking whatever, brown liquor in a glass and smoking a cigar. And then in confessional, he says, the first couple of days I was in Africa, all I thought about was, how I'm working myself to death. And I'm like, really? Because you're in this foreign land. You don't have a telephone. You're not going to see your wife and children for how many days? And you're not thinking, oh, wow, I really wish Tisha was here with me or my children was, I don't know, whoever. Who's with you that you're not really thinking about your family being with you in that moment? Because I don't think I've ever traveled anywhere where I haven't thought, wow, I wish my grandmother had the opportunity to be here, or I wish my mama was here with me, or my sister, or my whomever. Like, you really have to think that takes a lot for you to leave a whole country. You're on a whole nother continent, and your thoughts is about you working hard. Interesting. So anyway, he goes on, and then somewhere along the way, Tisha becomes completely doe-eyed, and she dropped her head and said, "Is it okay for us to go as a family the next time to Marsau?" And he did not answer her. And I was like, oh my God, my heart. I could not believe what I was watching. Then she asked the question again in confessional, and he's like, absolutely. But I was like, you heard your wife ask you if y'all all can go on vacation as a family. What is wrong with you, you bastard? Anyway, it's very apparent that Tisha and Marsau are going through something right now, and the only thing that they have in common is pretending like everything is fine. That's it. Marsau ends up saying that Martell and Maurice ganged up on him about Louis, and then that was Tisha's moment to shine. Oh, why would they gang up on you? We've been married for 15 years. Why is everybody coming for our marriage? That's all they do. That's the only thing they have good going on right there. And then Tisha says, just like my mama when she brought up the secret apartment. But she says it in a way like, I'm asking you, do you have a secret apartment? Marsau says, I'm not going to keep explaining myself to people who are hell-bent on getting me wrong. You know what I'm saying? Or misunderstanding me. Then he says, I have my name on both my car and my truck. And if ever my car was parked, and then he stops himself because he realized he was going to say at the apartment. Tisha looks cockeyed at him like, if your car was parked where? And he goes, at the secret apartment. So he jumps in right in time. But he stumbled over that, to be honest. So he almost said it like, if my car was at the apartment, someone would have told you. But anyway, after he says that, Tisha's like, getting a little bit more into it. She says, hey, have you ever talked to Martell? Since the rumors are about you and him? And he said, no, I would never, that never entered my mind to talk to Martell. Now, mind you, you started this conversation off talking about how you're not going to tolerate Louis asking you any questions, giving you any advice, whatever it is that Louis wants to say about you and Tisha's relationship, you're going to chop it down, okay? However, your business partners with a man, a business partner and friend at the time, with a man who has rumors swirling around Huntsville about babies, purchasing cars, secret apartments, mistresses at the yayo, and that you don't want to address. I don't know, Tisha. I'm just saying, maybe you should just ask the right question. Just be blunt. Anyways, Tisha's still, trying to take it in stride. Then Marsau says that Martell had called him after they had all met together, him and Maurice, and said not to do anything that would ruin his marriage. And Tisha says really quickly, why would he tell you that? Why would he tell you not to do anything to ruin your marriage? Then Marcel says, Martell's just being sensitive to his own situation. Well, of course he's being sensitive to his own situation. But why is he telling you that, sir? So Tisha's looking skeptical as hell. And then Marcel says, are we good? We're good, right? And she was like, yeah, we're good. And he was like, good, because I just want to make sure, because I don't want any surprises. Your wife has been asking you not to surprise her, but you do it anyway. So the last two scenes of the show belong to Martell. The first one, he goes to his mother's house to have her taste test the wine. And you can tell that, Miss Marlene does not drink. She's just pouring them back, anything that she pours in a glass. I think it could have been rubbing alcohol. She would have said, thumbs up, son, because I love you so much. And I just want you to, succeed at whatever's going on. So she really didn't give a very honest opinion of anything. And he could tell. By the end of it, he was like, I'm just trying to get myself out of the slump. I had a really tough year last year, but this wine is going to get me back on track. And she's like, I love you, son. He named the wine, Inest, is her mother, his mother's mother. So his grandmother, basically, he named the wine after her. So again, a lot of similarities to what Melody does. It looks like he tries to pull some things because maybe he just wasn't the business or the brains behind things. If anybody watched that live that him and his mistress were on, It was sad because she was trying to help promote the wine, and at one point they spilled the wine. I think that was probably the biggest part of it. But she's not good at promoting. She didn't know what the hell she was talking about. It's sweet and it's dry, but not too sweet. And he was trying to help her out, like say things to the side. Girl, it was horrible. So anyway, we're going to get to the last scene, which is Martell. Read it and weep at the book signing. So Martell shows up, and you can tell that he is heartbroken from the time he walks into the room. Melnika asked if Mel was going to bring the kids, and the brother's voice cracked. He was like, well, I gave Mel, and he stopped himself, turns away. We've seen Martell cry enough to know when he's going to cry, and he started crying immediately, okay? He knew that Mel was not bringing up those damn kids, and, you know, it was just one of those teaching moments you have to learn at some point. Anyway, he basically goes through this entire scene praying that Mel walks through the door with those children. People are walking up to the desk. They're asking him, where's the kids? He's like, yeah, you know, it's my wife's week. One of the ladies said, welcome to divorce. Like, you should have known better. Those name tags and them empty chairs, man, I was like, wow, Martell. The manager, Melnika, she's like, listen, I've been trying to figure out how not to cross my boundaries with you, but you can tell that y'all have a very bad co-parenting relationship. And, that's a relationship builder. Like, y'all have to know what to do to co-parent. And she was like, she doesn't feel safe. And she almost said, I understand why she doesn't feel safe. You're going to have to do XYZ. But she stopped herself, or they literally cut it out the scene. And I was like, well, damn, really? Did that happen? But he nods his head. He does not want to hear it. And he sits at that desk, and he just looks like he wants to die, to be honest. At some point, they have to bring up 2 other children that he doesn't even know to help him in this book reading. And people, first of all, there was no one in the room. In my head, I was like, well, as the manager, I don't know exactly how much, power Martell gives this manager, because as a manager, she looked crazy too. First of all, you have a book event where there are really no children. Like, did you invite anybody from the kids' school? Like, people their age? Did y'all go to library? Like, where did y'all get these people? These are all adults. Your mom, only Tiffany and Louis and their children. The other cast members weren't there. Not your good friend Destiny, who you've known for 20 years, and her baby. And Marsau and his kids weren't there because they had another party to go to. Like, there's some things that you need to plan ahead for to make sure y'all don't look stupid on TV. Y'all know y'all on the show, right? Anyway, it was sad, sad, sad. And it was embarrassing. Now, Martell's been looking very gaunt and thin and just not himself. And I got to tell you, moments like that have a way of breaking you down in every way. And that's usually the physical result of those type of things. So he's going to have to get himself together, okay? And I forgot to say that he decided to go into the wine business because of a wine that he and Melody used to enjoy. So all of these things that he keep regurgitating about his relationship with Melody is really wild to me, because you know that he is still in the trying to get over stage. We all saw again what was going on with him and the mistress, and I don't even want to call her the girlfriend, but the girlfriend. Him being at this concert and doing their thing, their moment of going Instagram official, I guess. But he has to take his advice, stop crossing boundaries. He's going to have to apologize to the television audience for being a bastard to his ex-wife, because that really is the only way those businesses is going to get off the ground. Another thing he said that wasn't right, when someone was like, when is the wine coming out? Oh, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. Like, this person that you call a partner, she doesn't even know what's going on in your life. Like, we watched a woman like come back with every detail to save your ass, and here you are, just swimming out in the middle of the ocean, just floundering, trying to figure it all out. And it's embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing. Anyways, I really enjoyed that part of the show, I have to say. That was some real business, okay? But you guys tell me what y'all think. like, comment, subscribe, and I will see y'all on the next one.